Hey y'all, it's Tiffany, the Project Bag, and today is, oh my gosh, I don't even know what today is. Today is a day on planet Earth. What is today? March the 30th, 2020. There we go. And it is about 7:30 in the evening, so I'm going to be losing daylight soon since obviously I've got a different background. Um, Today was the day that our governor decided to enact the stay-at-home order effective 8 p.m. this evening. So, essential trips out only to get supplies, and that's it. You can still be outside for fitness and whatnot, but severely limiting your contact with other human beings. So, fine by me. I'll just stay home, knit. I mean, that sounds delightful. Right now it is 64 outside, and which is about 18 Celsius. It's a little bit chilly, so I put on my little sweater. Um, if you would like to follow me on social media, I can be found at the Project Bag 35 on Instagram. I don't know if I just said that or probably being redundant, but this is what you get. Um, So, like I said, today was a pretty day earlier, and my son and I cleaned up the backyard, which means I pulled out the patio set, uncovered it from the winter, put up the umbrella, dusted off my chairs, and prepped myself for all the glorious hashtag knitting in the backyard that is to come. So, and I have been knitting, and it's only been a week since I put up just a little over a week since I put up my last episode. I didn't really intend to do a weekly, but for now, since I do have all this extra time, I figured I might as well. I know what YouTube has meant to me over the last few weeks, so I thought maybe I would just contribute and give back by giving some more entertainment. So I completed this hat just a little bit ago. Look how sweet this is. This is going to make your day. Look at this. This is, I didn't look up the designer, but it's on my project page. I'm the Project Bag on Ravelry. But this is the Cabbage Patch hat. I mean, because of course it is. A knitted version, because I think there are several crocheted versions as well. But this is a contribution to the Hats for Kiddos initiative that my friend Daniela, Caffeinated Gert, is hosting on her podcast, or through her podcast, I should say, which is here on YouTube. I had started one of these in a different yarn a couple weeks ago, and I just was not, the needles I was using, this loop stitch is kind of a bear to get started. Or to work at all if you don't have very pointy needles, because there's a yarn over involved to secure these loops, or a pass slip stitch over kind of thing. And so you really need some severely sharp needles, and I was not working with sharp needles at the time, so it was just a slog. So I got myself a smaller diameter circular and made that happen. So I'm thrilled with it, but I do have to say that it might be the only one that I make for this. I pulled out my external mic in case there was wind. It's probably the only one that I'm going to make for this go-round of Hats for Kiddos. As cute as they are, they're just, I don't know, that loop stitch took me probably as long to knit those 3 rounds of loop stitch as it did to knit the body of the hat. So it's going to be one lucky little recipient that gets that hat, is what I'm telling you. So that's my completed, let me pull up my podcast notes here so I know what else I need to talk about. The other thing that I completed was the Clever Girl hat that I was working on the last time. That is a color work pattern that I was finishing for Dana. I did finish that, reworked it in a different method of obnoxiously loud car. Gotta love suburbia, don't you? I don't. I don't love suburbia. Put me in the woods any day. Anyway, I was off track. I found another way of securing the long floats. It still wasn't my best work. There's a project page for it on my Ravelry in my notebook there, but in the end, it got finished. It'll be a boost sample, and it's okay. I didn't feel great about it, but I mean, I don't know what else more I possibly could have done, and I'd already knit the thing twice, so I didn't. I love her, but I just did not have it in me to knit a third time. So let's see. Um, so I finished the Cabbage Patch hat. I finished the Clever Girl hat, and that's all my completes for this time. I am actively working still on the Advent wrap. I've put 3 more colors on it. I think 3 since I showed it last week. I did, or maybe not. Maybe Mount Crumpet, Mount Mary Falmouth, the Island of Misfit Toys, and Mulled Wine. So I put 4 on it since I last showed it. And I think now I have 15 of the, I think that's right, 15 of the 24 minis worked into it. This is the Advent Wrap by B. Devin Steiner. I have a project page on Ravelry for all the exact names of the colorways. This is an Unwind Yarn Company Advent 2019 set. And the next color to go in is Drifts, and it's very pretty. So that's been actively worked on. My Northeasterly, I don't think I've touched it since I last podcasted. I have been spinning a little bit. This is Pixie Dust. She's my nano, and what I've been working on is this 100% superwash Targi that came from Lady Llama Fiber Company, and this colorway is Pansy Pandemonium, and it's so pretty. I just love it. This fiber, I only have 2 ounces because I participated, Lisa from Fiber Nymph Dye Works did she hosted a swap, I think it was last summer, where you took a 4-ounce braid, split it down the middle, you kept 2 ounces, and you sent 2 ounces to your partner, and then you each spun it to see, what 2 different spinners would do with the same yarn, or the same fiber. So I'm embarrassed to tell you that I started this 2 ounces back in October, and I still don't have it finished. But, hey, nobody pays me to spin, so. Okay, so that's that. Are they saying active? Yeah. Okay, so what I've got coming. I think last time I said I didn't know what I might be casting on next, and that's still the case, except I did find one thing. Bling Your String Crafty Bingo. Erin hosts that every year, and one of my goals was to knit or destash 1 skein of handspun. I did that for 2 different squares because I figured that would force me to. I am motivated by consequences far greater than I am motivated by rewards. So I figured if I said knit or destash, that would force me to, piss or get off the pot. So I pulled out a skein of this. This is my first ever handspun. I spindle spun it during Tour de Fleece in July of 2015. It's this is what I've got left after I knit a like a shallow shawl. I can't think of the name of it, but it's in my projects from way back when, if you'd care to dig it up. But anyway, I am going to make a toy with this. I'm going to make the Bon Bon Bunny by Susan Claudino. And she now has a hyphenated last name, and I'm not sure what her married name is, or what the second half of that hyphenated name is now. But you can find Bon Bon Bunny on Ravelry. So I thought that this is, I spindle spun and plied this all during Tour de Fleece. I mean, I can't even imagine. That sounds like madness to me now. Like, I don't know that I'd have it in me to do that now. But, the innocence of the beginner. It is, I can't remember what the reps per inch is, but it's definitely a light fingering. I haven't decided yet exactly which needle size I will use for this. I mean, it's looking like I might be looking at a 2 or 1. I don't even know if I own 1s. I don't think I own anything smaller than a 2. So anyway, I'll figure that out, but I thought it would be a good use of this hand spun, because I didn't designate in that square whether the skein had to be a full skein or not. So that is that. That's the only thing I've got to come. Also, excuse me, I must take a drink or I'm going to have a coughing fit. Nobody wants to listen to that. So, with the Crafty Bingo, I also, there was a few whips. There were a few whips. I'm not one to typically have a lot of whips, or actually, yeah, they were hibernating. So I figured that I, again, would motivate myself to get them finished by putting them on this bingo. So, with this particular one, I said finish or frog, because I don't know, well, I know what I've decided now, but at the time I wasn't sure what I was going to do. I need to look this up because I don't remember what the name of this pattern is. So I started this cardigan for the Into the Wool Spotlight knit along in 2017. And it is Plano Verano by Corrine Walcher. And it's a cardigan. It's like a cropped cardigan, short sleeve, you know, meant to throw on over a, like a, what's the word I'm looking for? Good gracious, words. I turn this thing on and all of a sudden I forget how to speak. It's like some magic. A dress, like a summer dress, spring dress, something like that. Okay, so I couldn't tell you why I didn't finish this thing, but I can tell you that what I've decided is I'm going to frog it because I no longer think that the size I started is going to work for me. We've talked about this before. I'm getting older, my shape is changing, and praise the Lord, hallelujah, I've gone up a cup size, so I don't think this is going to work anymore. But the yarn is beautiful. This is, and I realize that, you know, the light's not doing much for it, or my lighting situation is not doing much for it, but maybe I can pull my computer. Ooh, look, I'm glowing now. I could tell some scary camp stories. Haha. This is Wedding Orchids, Unwind Yarn Company, and the base is the Rendezvous Sport sock. I bought this at Into the Wool 2016. That year, Into the Wool happened to fall, or the Saturday of Into the Wool happened to fall on my birthday, and I blew it out at the market, especially with Dana. So, anyway, I've decided I'm going to frog this, but I wanted to show it before I did. I got, you know, this much completed on it before I had set it down. I've been looking for projects to replace it with, because, you know, this yarn deserves to be something amazing, but I haven't settled on anything yet. So for the time being, I'll go ahead and rip it out, maybe steam block the yarn to get all the crinkles out, and then I will be able to check that bingo square off. So that's a win. Okay, I think that's probably all I've got to share today. I had a fun fact, but I think I'm gonna save it for my next one. I did want to talk real quick about what I have been doing during my incarceration here. Really, it's not. I mean, I say that like it's a hardship. It's really not a hardship for me. It's kind of ideal, but it's still, you know, these crazy times we're living in. I have been listening to audiobooks. The Domestic Diva Mystery Series by Krista Davis. Our library system participates with the Hoopla digital services, and so they've upped our limit. It used to be 5, but right now, because of, you know, the libraries being closed, they are now allowing you to check out 8 a month. So I'm just blowing through those left and right. Each of those is about 9 to 10 hours. I my genre of choice is cozy mysteries, and this falls into that category. And it's actually, what's really cool, I didn't realize this when I started this series, is that it is set in Old Town Alexandria, which is literally right across the river from me. Well, Woodbridge is technically right across the river from me, but Alexandria is only 20 miles from here. So, and if I had a boat, probably faster. So anyway, that's that was a cool discovery. So you might want to check that out if that's your area of interest. The other thing I've been spending a lot of time doing this week in particular is watching so many hours, as many as I can find, of YouTube videos of camping reviews, campground reviews. There's one particular channel that I've been watching for a couple of years now, or maybe I found him a year ago. But Fraser Douglas, the avid tent camper, he has a website called Modern Tent Camping. I love it. He's the only one I've found that is dedicated specifically to tent camping, and that is my preferred method. I've only tried camping in an RV once, and I did not care for it because it did the thing that I was afraid would happen, and we didn't spend hardly any time that camping trip outside, which kind of defeats the purpose of going to the woods. So yeah, I found some channels that have campground reviews, and I've been watching those left and right, and all it's done is fueled my desire to get outside and get my tents out. So that is to come. Thanks for turning that light on. My son just stepped in front of the sensor, and maybe that's what I needed to do. I should have just jumped up and down. So yeah, that's really all I've got as far as on my notes here. Yeah, as I look around, this is my little pile. So I'm going to cast on Bon Bon Bunny before the next time, which I'm not sure when the next time will be. It might be a week, might be 2 weeks, it might be tomorrow for all I know. I mean, I never know. This girl is inclined to change her mind all the time. But anyway, I heard a noise over there. I was hoping maybe it was like a rabbit or something, but I don't see anything. So I guess for now, I'm just going to say good evening, and I'll catch up with you again soon. Bye!